Audiobook Club with Steve Phillips and Matthew Layton.
On this episode of Audiobook Club, the one, the only Ozzy Osbourne.
Total darkness, turning slowly to red. Smoke. Thud, 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 thud. An ocean of pinprick lights from 30,000 phones. Thud, 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 thud. Every thump of Tommy's right foot on his bass drum feels like an incoming mortar. Here it comes. I am Iron Man. A deafening roar goes up as the crowd recognises the song. That first note of Iron Man gets me every time, man. You feel it in your bowels, your teeth, your bones. It's like the gates of hell grinding open, like the groan of the Heinkel bombers as they dip below the clouds to try take out the Castle Bromwich Spitfire factory night after night. Like the thunder of the heavy machinery our fathers used to operate, and their fathers before them. I'm on the platform, rising up into the glowing red mist. I don't just feel part of the crowd, I am the fucking crowd. Video projections flicker on the 50-foot high speaker columns to either side of me.
Come on! Let's go crazy!
And we're into paranoid. Explosions everywhere. Hundreds of rockets blasting up from every corner of the stadium into the night sky. I'm looking out over Perry Bar, over Aston, over the place I grew up 60, 70 years ago, over a crowd that seems to stretch halfway to Wolverhampton. We're live on BBC One. Prince Charles is here. All I can think is, what an honour, what a life. What were the chances it would turn out like this? Muscle memory at this point. I'm bouncing up and down, grinning my face off, raising my arms up, clapping along with the crowd. I'm hitting the notes. No yodeling. Blinding flashes of red, orange, white and blue all around and above me. We're belting out the song like we're 23 years old. Then Tony's into the solo. The guy's as cool as the day I met him. Leather blazer, shades on, ripping through the notes, hands barely moving, making it seem like the easiest thing in the world, even though the tips of his fingers are still made out of fairy liquid bottle tops.
Audiobook Club with Steve Phillips and Matthew Layton.
Hello and welcome to Audiobook Club, the podcast about audiobooks that knows that it gets to a point where you have to acknowledge there is such a thing as too much vodka and codeine. This week, we're casting an ear over Last Rites by Ozzy Osbourne, narrated by Ian Danter. It's 10 hours and 15 minutes of goodness. 7th of October it was released from Little Brown Audio. Matt.
Hello, Steve.
Hello. How did you find Ozzy?
Well, I was dreading it.
Oh, really?
I'm not particularly... for me, he is the lead singer of a band that the music doesn't speak to me. And then he's most prominent in my subconscious, conscious mind as somebody who fumbled around on the television in about 25 years ago with his family in a house and dog farts. And I don't think I've watched too much of it, and that's all I could remember. However...
He speaks highly of you. He's a big Lionel Richie fan, I'm sure.
Do you know what he is? It's funny you should say... No, genuinely. He talks about a time where he... I think he renewed his vows with Sharon And he said, it wasn't exactly a romantic evening. I didn't get my Lionel Richie record out. So he is actually a Lionel Richie fan.
But that's where he started off, because he was a massive fan of the Beatles. That's what got him into rock and roll, was the Beatles.
Yeah. Hold on. Can we talk about the vodka and codeine thing before I forget?
Oh, yeah, go on.
So there was a bit where Ozzy went, yeah, no, I realised that perhaps I'd been overdoing it with the vodka and the codeine. So I took a break from that and moved on to the barbiturates because I thought they were safer.
I love this man. He's just the best. He is just the best.
Well, yeah. I had the perfect experience of this book, which is, I'm back in London now after my trip to Oz, and I had the usual sort of 30-hour journey to get back here. As I got into the cab on the way to the airport, I put the book on, I started the book, and I've never annotated the first few chapters of a book so much. I mean, brilliant rock and roll stories, everything you want, a little bit of regret, many, many outrageous things. And yeah, I liked him. And then I got on the plane, I had my tea, and then I fell asleep. So much like Ozzy himself, I don't remember about 70% of this book. But the bits I did hear, I liked. The bits in the middle, from indeed about 1990 to 2024, I don't really remember. And that's a perfect thing. It was a perfect way to experience this book, I think, because that's how Ozzy feels.
Yeah, I mean, I came to Ozzy really when I was at university. I knew his name, but that was about it. But the sort of the circle I mixed with were always telling stories. Like, they were recounting Ozzy stories, basically, and they were just the funniest thing. The scrapes he got into, his stories about his roadies, and he's just so, I don't know. He's so funny. He is one of the funniest, but he's not, of course, he's like, he's the godfather of metal and just an absolute, legend in music. He was a legend in comedy as well. He was just so, because I mean, let's face it, there are one or two rock stars out there who are a bit up themselves, aren't they? Do you know what I mean? Maybe take themselves a little bit too seriously sometimes. But Ozzy's sense of humour and just the genuine nature of him, you can understand why the Osbournes work so well, the reality show you just mentioned there. He really did. I mean, he had like this little girl come up to him going, you're my my music hero. It's kind of been more than 8 or 9. He really just spanned generations in terms of who he connected with. And, but, outrageous with the swearing and outrageous with his life and what he did to his body. The stories he has are just absolutely incredible. And I'm so glad that he documented them right up to the end, which was fantastic.
Yeah, no, I enjoyed it. I have to say, all of that has passed me by. So fortunately, I was hearing most of these stories for the first time.
Yeah.
Again, I get to the point, I've said this about a couple of books we've done recently. I now feel that I've done enough Ozzy Osbourne, if you know what I mean. Yeah, it's like, that'll do. I've experienced that. I've experienced about as much of it as I want. But, there were bits where, frankly, this national treasure is a bit of a drunkard and a yob. So, but the bits where he got obsessed with setting off cherry bombs and as I say, the bit where, I thought I'd better let the codeine vodka go onto the barbiturates. The other thing that alarmed me was the bit where he has a penchant for guns. In the acknowledgements at the end of the book, as well as thanking his family and all of his bandmates in a kind of a this is the end, curtain closing, I really know I'm checking out soon. He also thanks his many friends at El-Attar Air Rifles.
Sounds like a sponsorship thing.
Yeah, so apparently he spent a lot of COVID irritating his next door neighbours. I think the way he put it was, like everything in America, they're bigger. It's not the kind of thing you can get in the UK with a ball bearing. You can take down a moose with an American air gun. And, that and his pyromania, there are bits where maybe being his neighbour wouldn't be funny after a while, I think.
Yeah, that's documented down the years, really. I think the very first episode of the Osbournes, I think he was throwing stuff at the neighbours, or Sharon was throwing stuff at the neighbours, and then I think Ozzy sort of tops it off. I think they threw like a giant ham over the fence or something weird. I can't remember. It's a long time ago now.
How does he get away with it, Stephen? Why? As I say, I don't...
Because he's so endearing and funny. I mean, he just does it. He's in the Osbournes, and that's why I really, really liked him, or sort of really connected with him, was just his utter bewilderment of what was going on around him, modern technology, and just what was happening in one part of the house. In the background, you just see him sitting on a chair, going to sit on a chair, and it just going for the traditional pratfall backwards, and it's just the funniest. It's just the funniest thing. The bit where he's getting ready for his concert. And Sharon thought that it might be quite nice that, along with the pyrotechnics, there's a cascade of bubbles, and he's just looking in absolute disgust and contempt. He's just going, "I'm supposed to be the Prince of Darkness, and there's all these bubbles here." And that is very good. Shall we talk about the author in depth now?
Yeah. Well, look, let's. Because obviously this book has got us talking. It's made us neglect our 3-step process.
Yes.
I'll kick it off. Let's tick some boxes as quickly as we can and get back to our conversation. What do you think?
Sounds a plan. The author, and then the text, and then the audiobook production. Those are our 3 steps, dear listener. So what did the audiobook bring over and above the printed version? Was the performance good from the narrator? Was it even a performance, or was it simply just a basic narration? We'll talk about the book as well, but first, here's Matt Layton to give you the gen on the author, Mr. Ozzy Osbourne, which is how you introduce old rock legends, you know what I mean? Like rock legends, we've got Mr. Ozzy Osbourne, Mr. Megadeth, Mr., Alice Cooper.
I'm afraid I'm not legendary. I'm somewhere between vintage and veteran.
What was your first concert, by the way, that you went to?
Proper one, Michael Jackson, Wembley Stadium, 1986.
Wow. All right at the height.
Yeah. It was the bad tour.
Yeah.
Listen, come on, you just reined me in.
Yeah.
Stop it.
Off you go with the author.
I'll ask you later if I remember. John Michael Ozzy Osbourne was born on the 3rd of December 1948, and he passed away on the 22nd of July this year, 2025. He was an English singer-songwriter and media personality. He was part of the heavy metal band Black Sabbath. He started there in 1968, and then he got sacked in 1979 because of problems with drugs, alcohol, and tobacco. I don't know why that's in there. Wasn't me. He ended a solo career in the 1980s. He sold over 100 million albums. And as we mentioned, in the early 2000s, he became a reality television star when he appeared in the MTV reality show The Osbournes, alongside Sharon and 2 of their children, Kelly and Jack. On the 5th of July 2025, Osbourne performed his final show at the Back to the Beginning concert in Birmingham, having announced it would be his last due to health issues, and he died 17 days later.
Yeah.
What I didn't realise, and it's not mentioned in the book, is in 2015 he got an Ivor Novello Award for Lifetime Achievement from the British Academy of Songwriters, Composers and Authors.
What a legend. And what a way to check out as well, as literally saying goodbye in a massive packed stadium. Well, and so wife Sharon is there, of course, and we kind of vaguely know who she is as well, because she also got a career in front of the camera where she had been his manager up until that point. But she's clearly a savvy businesswoman, a good organizer. What's your impression of their marriage, Steve? Because again, I haven't watched it. All I've heard in this book is Ozzy going, I'm totally devoted to her, but I keep ruining her life. Yeah.
Is it genuine, their relationship?
A million times genuine. Absolutely. If you had seen There's, since his passing, a couple of documentaries that are made. One sort of, I guess, sort of US centric and kind of broadcast over there, but you can still get it. I think it's on Paramount Plus. But the BBC were going to film like an updated Osbourne's style kind of series from starting a few years ago. So the cameras have been following him over the last few years, but because of his health issues and not being able, it was supposed to document his move back to Britain a few years ago, but because of his health issues, he couldn't make it over. And so it became this 1 hour documentary that was broadcast as we record just a few weeks ago. Obviously a while after he passed away. And what you saw with Sharon, and also, you know, her reaction just in bits when his funeral cortege wound through the streets of Birmingham, just absolutely, I mean, knocked for six is an understatement, really. She was, yeah, she's going to really struggle without him. And he would have done without her as well, because, you know, if she'd have gone first, because, yes, they have had, I mean, with the way Ozzy, all Ozzy's stories come from truth. And at some point, he tells the story. I mean, she was very worried about his drinking. And one story was that, and if I'm just paraphrasing, trying to recall it right. They were in a hotel room. She had got the hotel staff to hide all of his clothes. So he couldn't leave the room to go out and get drunk, because she had to go out briefly. And when she came back, he was in his room, absolutely paralytic. And basically what he said was, I put on one of your dresses and went down to the transvestite bar. And so she had to really kind of, you know, there were times when I think they might have, might have separated for a little bit. You know, it's just the lives that they led and the people they were. But ultimately, their story is one of deep, genuine love, I think. And, yeah, I mean, and she was absolutely determined to get him back to the UK, you know, for his final few years, which turned out to be just a few days, really.
You were very good there. It was like everything faded to black and white. You know that bit at the end of the year where, you know, they do those tributes to people who've died? It was very good, because you brought in a bit of levity, and then you talked about the love between him and his wife. And I think the woman's a saint. Here's a clip.
The night before at the hotel, I'd been absolutely off the chart shit-faced. We're talking peak human wrecking ball days. And this German guy came up to me. It could have been Wolf Hoffmann from Accept or someone else in his band. And he goes, Ozzy, why you get so crazy before show? You have responsibility. Don't you want to prepare? I was like, what do you think I'm doing? He just shook his head and walked away. But the thing is, playing with a hangover after you've had a great night out is a lot different to going on stage wasted. The next day, I rolled out of bed in the afternoon, got shot up with Decadron, went on stage and absolutely killed it. It's sod's law. You over-prepare and it's shit. You wing it, going out there with a steaming hangover, and it's amazing. Speaking of hangover gigs, another great one was Rock in Rio a year later. I'd just got out of the Betty Ford Clinic in Palm Springs, and I thought the flight to Rio would be just a couple of hours. But after 3 hours had gone by, I realised it would be more like 9 or 10. And in my mind, getting through it without a drink was impossible. By the time we came into land, I was blacked out in the aisle, and Sharon was so pissed off with me, she was stabbing me with a fork. You can see for yourself what the gig was like, because someone's put it on YouTube. For me, it was almost up there with Donington. The only thing that took away from the fun was the smell of the place. The organisers had provided almost no toilet facilities, so people just pissed and shat where they stood in the 90-degree heat, and they'd been there for almost a week. At some point, someone threw a raw chicken at me, as everyone did in those days for some reason, and when I bent over to pick it up, the stench almost knocked me out. Normally, I'd have fucked around a bit with the thing and taken a bite out of it or whatever, But even my booze-sozzled brain was like, fuck, no, not a good idea. A live bat was one thing. A shit-smeared raw chicken was something else.
Yeah, there you go. I know how to get you. Right. After that little bit of high culture...
Don't wave, a chicken covered in excrement at me, because I'm on a diet at the moment. I'm just feeling so hungry, and that just sounds amazing. So amazing. Yes. Oh, I love the brown glaze on that. No, that's not glaze.
No.
It's not glaze. Don't touch that. It's bad chicken. Bad chicken. No.
Bad chicken. Right.
Yeah.
So hold on. Don't interrupt me. Here he is, the man, the legend, reading cold without looking at it before. The words from the back of the book, if you can have a back of an audiobook, Titan of Words, Steve Phillips.
People say to me, if you could do it all again, knowing what you know now, would you change anything? I'm like, fuck no. If I'd been clean and sober, I wouldn't be Ozzy. If I'd done normal, sensible things, I wouldn't be Ozzy. Husband, father, grandfather, a kin icon, 1948 to 2025. At the age of 69, Ozzy Osbourne was on a triumphant farewell tour, playing to sold-out arenas and rave reviews all over the world. Then, disaster. In a matter of just a few weeks, he went from being hospitalised with a finger infection to having to abandon his tour and all public life as he faced a near total paralysis from the neck down. Last Rites is the shocking, bitterly hilarious, never-before-told story of Ozzy's descent into hell. Along the way are reflections on an extraordinary life and career, including his marriage to wife Sharon, and what it took for him to return to the stage for the triumphant Back to the Beginning concert streamed around the world, where Ozzy reunited with his Black Sabbath bandmates for the final time. Unflinching, brutally honest, but surprisingly life-affirming, Last Rites demonstrates once again why Ozzy transcended his status as the godfather of metal and the prince of darkness to become a modern-day folk hero and national treasure. What's a good book, this? I love this book.
So I've really enjoyed this past couple of weeks. This is our third autobiography
and final for a while, isn't it? Yeah,
absolutely. By the way, 2 weeks in a row, the principal characters in the books we've read have had quad bike accidents in real life.
What is it about quad? There seemed to be a spate of them at the time. Yeah, Rick Mail, and then
Rick Mail had one last week. And Ozzy's had one this week where they've tried to wrestle a quad bike. I loved the stories of Birmingham in the 1960s. I mean, even to the point where, and this is the story I told when I went to the pub last night. The guitarist in Black Sabbath had an accident with some machinery in Birmingham in the 1960s, and then basically didn't want to give up playing the guitar, so replaced his fingertips with the tops of fairy liquid bottles, and slackened the strings on the guitar, and had to make them, slackened them and got thinner strings from a banjo, basically, because he couldn't really play it. And that's where the dark sound comes from. It's just, and there's been, we've been through the 70s and 80s with Tim Berners-Lee and Ben Elton, and I think, it's interesting to, it's really put me in touch with my mortality, this book. Thanks for that, Steve.
Sorry. Don't worry. You've still got another 15, 14, 13, 12. That's a Bob Monkhouse joke there.
No, stop it. But yeah, the bit where we've seen the 70s and 80s from slightly different, admittedly white male angles. So yeah, I've enjoyed that sort of having history explained to me, and that I was there for that history and remember getting a third of a pint of milk in a glass bottle when I went to school, which seems so unusual now.
No, it is. Well, I don't think I had that when I was at school. Oh, we swam in different lanes at school, though, I feel, Matt.
Well, that'll be Maggie Thatcher Milk Snatcher doing that to you. I'm just a couple of years older than you.
Yeah, I went to a rough school. It was rough. It wasn't milk you got given.
Yeah, we only had the full cream milk where I was.
Of course, absolutely right. Yes, freshly squeezed.
So how did you find... Let's go on to the audio, because we need to talk about death.
Yeah.
And I'm going to play a clip that illustrates, basically Ozzy is signing out in this one. It's quite sad, actually, after all this vivacious living. How did you find the narrator of the book?
I thought he was perfectly cast, to be fair. We often talk, and this is well trodden path for us when we talk about, it's autobiographies, when the actual main character will do the prologue and then hand over, or do a forward and then hand over. In Ozzy's case, two things. First of all, you can completely understand why he wasn't sat in a studio for 20 odd hours to record this thing. Absolutely. And so that I completely understand that you needed to have a narrator. And actually, Ian Danter, really captured Ozzy's words, to be fair. You can imagine Ozzy saying those words. And I've so often not had that.
Okay. So the question I asked myself, and I wonder if you've done this, was, this is all great. And you're right, and there's no way he could do it. And this guy has a clear, chirpy voice. It's like the perfect version of Ozzy Osbourne that Ozzy Osbourne would have liked to have been when he's 20. Do you think the Brummie accent is authentic?
I'm assuming that Ian Danter was Brummie, to be fair, actually.
Well, you're not wrong, because I've Googled it.
Good.
And it turns out he's actually he's one of us. He's a radio person. And he is a genuine Brummie, and I have to say, that bit where Audible plays you 5-minute clips of other books afterwards?
Yeah.
I heard Frank Skinner does one of them. Somebody who clearly isn't a Brummie does another, and starts off saying, such and such a publisher presents The Life of Ozzy Osbourne, and then starts going like this. And I don't do the accent in front of the people ever.
Yeah.
But the Brummie accent itself, what's your relationship with it, Steve? Because you read these things where no, but seriously, it can go one of two ways. There's a bit where some people find it boring, but then it constantly gets voted in certain surveys as the most liked call centre voice accenty type thing. So where do you sit with the Brummie accent?
I hadn't thought about the call centre thing, but you're absolutely right. Actually, it's kind of that sort of friendly sort of. You feel like you're speaking on the same level. You're not being patronised, or you're. It's very good that. In terms of my relationship with the Brummie accent, fairly good, to be honest. I'm pretty happy with my relationship with it. It's often derided. It's
yes.
It's probably when back in the day when the BBC were trying to come away from received pronunciation, I'm guessing that Birmingham wasn't top of their list in terms of spreading out regional accents. But no, I think it's a lovely accent. It's like everybody's accent, though. You can have it, really kind of exaggerated and embellished, so it becomes a point of humour. But that's any accent. My accent from Essex, you can really expand that as well. I think we talked about this before, actually, in terms of the accents last week, actually, with Ben Elton. But, Bristolian as well. That's another one which.
Well, listen, I'm sorry I put you in a corner there.
That's okay.
I'm certainly not. I am accent agnostic. I'm gender neutral on accents, But the reason I wanted to bring up that question is because of a very interesting clip that explains the origins of the Birmingham accent. Have you seen this video by Jason Isaacs talking about his vocal coach?
No, I've not. No.
All right, here we go.
I had a brilliant dialect coach when I eventually went to drama school. And she had this theory that northern accents, so Yorkshire and Lancashire, came from the mills. And when there was loud industrial, you had to over-articulate over the sound of the conveyor belts to be heard.
Yeah.
And then you get to Liverpool, which had rotting cargo. So it stunk everywhere. So then you got to block your nose off like that. That's why you got to... So it's like you're over-articulated because you're outside, but also you don't want to breathe through,
I've never heard that.
And then Birmingham, which was the most polluted city in the world, so people have got like generational sinus infections in there today. So you learn not to breathe through there.
I buy all that.
Yeah,
I think
definitely.
that's great.
Definitely.
And I didn't say it. Jason Isaacs said it, so blame him.
He's a legend, Jason Isaacs. He's fantastic in Death of Stalin. If you've not seen that one yet, he's so good in that.
Do you know what? I haven't.
Yeah.
No, I do need to see that one.
You've never seen it? Oh, we need to have words. Right, okay.
All right, we'll put it on the list of things that you and I have to have words about.
Audiobook Club Movie Edition. Yeah.
Right. I think,
okay.
You know what? I think we've done quite a good job on this. I think it's time for us to wrap up this shit-smeared chicken.
I agree. Yeah.
And discard it. What do you think?
Discard it. Yeah. So, Ian Danter, your view on narrational performance, what are we saying?
Brilliant. And it was to a certain extent a performance. It's quite interesting. He has to, every third sentence by law in an Ozzy Osbourne, I think it's the ghostwriter is acknowledged in this one, but every third sentence has to end in man.
Yeah. Totally. That's how he talked. Yeah, he really captured Ozzy's voice. I think it's really, really. I mean, you can have yes, you would have to hire someone with a Brummie accent, but you need to capture the way Ozzy spoke, because the reason why his stories land so well in this book is because you can just picture Ozzy saying it. There was a clip in the Osbournes, and I remember Elton John and David Furnish came round to take the Sharon and Kelly out shopping, and Ozzy turns up because they come back in late from somewhere, and Elton said, "Well, I've got to give you a present, darling," sort of thing, and gave him I think it might have been a cross or something, but it was worth a lot of money, and it clearly meant something to Elton. And Ozzy was so embarrassed that he'd been given this present, and he had to go upstairs because he was so embarrassed about the whole thing. And he just said to Sharon, "Look, I can't keep this, man. I can't. It's just like, it's embarrassing, man." And just get out of the house before he gives me his house. It's so good. I am now an Ian Danter fan, and as I say, he's he works at TalkSport amongst other places, and I think that would have been a very long book had Ozzy read it. It would have been an even longer recording process. As you say, we all understand why it had to be done that way. But in terms of somebody who clearly is of that city and passionate about it as well, that's one of the messages in the book. I thought Ian did a fantastic job. And you know what? I was thinking yesterday, I should message him and see if we can get him on. And I regret not doing that. So at some point, hopefully, we'll get hold of him. But, that'd be good.
Again, not overperformed. Again, the right voice. And also managed to keep it incredibly light and positive even during the darker bits. So I respect his due to Ian Danter, as Norm Ski would say.
Yeah, and that was Ozzy as well. That's another reason why he captured him, because Ozzy had humour throughout. He really did. It was just the way he talked and the way his outlook.
But the nature of it, as we've discussed, Parkinson's and paralysis, I think we can all get behind the idea that this needed to be done, and it needed the people who helped it get it there, i.e. the ghostwriter and the narrator. I think we can this is one of those cases where read by the author would not be a good thing. And I fully support the way this has been done.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind Ozzy reading it, of course, naturally. But I understand. That he would.
You wouldn't bloody understand any of it if he'd read it.
I feel a kinship to him because I do stammer a lot sometimes, so I feel a kinship to him.
Do you?
Yeah, I think so. I've been listening back to an old episode, and I just thought, get to the point, Phillips. Honestly, which brings me round.
There is a little bit of that.
Yes, a little bit. You're kidding me? This podcast would be 20 minutes shorter if I got to the point. Speaking of which, that is our last autobiography for a little while. We will do Kathy Burke's. We talked about that last week because that one really looking forward to doing. But I've got a surprise on the script here. There is a surprise book we haven't spoken about. I was expecting a reacher from you.
Yes.
But that hasn't happened.
Yeah, and so was I. But I think so. Jack Reacher's 30th book comes out on the 4th of November. I will be getting it and having a listen to it because I've done all of them, and I think the idea that it's written by an Englishman really appeals to me. So what I was desperate to do something fiction, and I was looking for something. As I say, I want to get the toys out and play with them and do some explosions and stuff. But what I came across was Gone Before Goodbye. Which is the new novel from Reese Witherspoon and Harlan Coben. And I have to say, Harlan Coben has somewhat passed me by, but in the last couple of years, I've tried to watch a couple of things made in the UK and the US for television or Netflix or similar that were written by him. And I just can't get it. I had lunch with my beautiful aunt the other day, celebrating her 84th birthday. She's over from Vancouver. She ended up hitchhiking to my mum's house. Don't ask. But she described the time where my cousin, who is the same age as me, born in 1974, when he was 6 years old, the teachers had to inform my aunt and uncle that he had dyslexia. And she said that the way they did it at the time was they called both parents in for a meeting and handed over the table a questionnaire. And the questionnaire was written in hieroglyphics. So they looked at it and went, and she said, yeah, that's how your son feels when he sees a page of writing. And that's kind of how I feel. I think I've got Coben Lexia. I don't get his stories. I guess that just doesn't make any sense. So I want to put myself through that and see if I can like that. And Reese Witherspoon we approve of, and she runs a book club. Maybe one day we can write books too, Steve.
Well, who knows? Who knows? I mean, she is a New York Times best-selling author.
Are you on the Google again?
I'm on the Google. Yeah, she's Busy Betty. Was a series written by her. I suspect for kids because it looks very kid-like. This book, but she narrates as well as having written the Busy Betty series. But this looks to be, I think, a first.
Are you trying to avoid reading the list of narrators on this book? Is that what you're doing? Because two of them are easy.
There is a cast. There is a cast of narrators on this one.
Yeah, the first two on the list, and I've rejigged the list so that it's in this order, is Chris Pine and Reese Witherspoon. Good luck with the rest of that list, Steve.
No, you can't say that. You're not on GB News or whatever.
All right, no. All right. I'll do it. I'll do your job. So next week we shall be doing Gone Before Goodbye, which is written by Reese Witherspoon and Harlan Coben. The narrators are Chris Pine, Reese Witherspoon, James Fouhey, Kiff VandenHeuvel, Peter Ganim, Saskia Maarleveld, Suehyla El-Attar Young.
Perfect.
And I apologise for that. Well, we don't know. I'm sure we'll get feedback. It was released on the 23rd of October, so it's shiny and new. 10 hours and 31 minutes from our former friends at Penguin Audio.
Perfectly done. Yeah, you really should do this every week, actually, Matt. I really appreciate you taking up the slack on that one, mate. That was great.
I didn't want to. I don't really want to humiliate you.
No,
as much
fine.
as I say I do.
I know. It just sort of happens by accident, really, doesn't it? I suppose. But there we are. So yes, so that is our book, is Gone Before Goodbye, by Reese, Witherspoon, and Harlan, Coben. That is we're on Blue Sky and Instagram. If you want to get in touch, if you're reading that book right now, hashtag is Audiobook Club.
No. You're on Blue Sky and Instagram. Unlike, this is my new thing. I quite like it. I'm going to push it. Blue Sky and Instagram are the positive, happy platforms, and you're on those. Yes. And then, because I'm not as good at...
followed by you 9 days ago. You've been keeping your finger on the pulse of our own social networks, I saw.
But I do Facebook and Twitter because I can't seem to work Instagram or Blue Sky. So I hang out with old people and grumpy people. So basically, unlike other podcasts where they say email us at studio@podcast.com, we say pick a side. Pick a side and either come and abuse or support me on Twitter and Facebook, or abuse or support Steve. If somebody could just bring a slightly more negative vibe to Blue Sky, I think it needs taking down a peg or two, as do you, Steve, obviously.
Yeah, we all do, yeah.
So yeah, pick a side. I think that's what we say. Hashtag Audiobook Club.
There you go. Sounds good to me.
On most of the platforms, we were too late to get the Audiobook Club thing, so you'll probably find us under Audiobook Show or some other approximate nearly yes. What we wanted, but we couldn't
Audiobook.
get. I think on YouTube we're Audiobook Club 15419. I must sort that out.
Those golden numbers.
Oh yeah.
Right then. Right, we'll see you next week then for a bit of hardcore fiction. Ta-da.
Audiobook Club with Steve Phillips and Matthew Layton.